Hello, St. Joseph parents. I have about 3 pieces of information that I want to share with you today. The first 2 are pretty minor, but just good reminders that in your child's book bag, you should find the bookmark that says compassion on it. Compassion is the virtue that we're working on for the month of April. So if you would help us out and hang that on your refrigerator and kind of use that word this month to help students learn what that word means and how to show compassion to one another. The second item I have is about uniforms. Socks. We're wearing shorts again. Shorts are allowed now till the end of the school year. Our handbook does say that socks do need to show above the shoes, so they need to be ankle length or like calf length socks would be great. So those 2 things out of the way, the most important part of the message I want to talk to you about is our ever favorite word, masks. We've been talking about masks since last March. So about 2 weeks ago, Mrs. Eaton, Janet Eaton, our superintendent of schools, sent out a survey asking parents how they were feeling about masks. Should students wear masks? Should they not wear masks? It really wasn't intended to be any sort of a vote. She was just trying to get information about where our parents stood on the issue. So we got those results back. 66% of our parents, and in our case, that was actually 66 responses, said that they didn't think students needed to wear masks. And 33%, which in our case was actually 33 responses, said students should be wearing masks. So you can see that most parents were comfortable with students not wearing masks, but not all. So mask wearing has been by far the most divisive topic that I've had to deal with since being a principal. There's just no clear cut on how everybody feels about whether they're helpful, whether they're harmful, whether they do any good or not. So after thinking through those results, talking to our school council, listening to both sides of the argument on should students be masked or not masked still at this point, looking at our community numbers, which are very low right now. Our school numbers continue to be very low since January. We've really had, we've had 1 student in quarantine since January is all, and no staff members. So taking all of that into account, we Father Shockey and I tried to come up with what would be a plan, because we want to keep moving forward. We want to be forward moving. How can we move forward, but at the same time, make everybody feel comfortable, because we are a family, and in a family, that is part of your job, is to help all of your family members feel comfortable and welcome. And so we think we have come up with a plan that can do that for everybody. Here's what we're going to do. Starting Monday, your students will be allowed to not wear their masks while they're in their classroom. They're seated at their desk, they're doing their work, or they're listening to the teacher. When they're seated, they can just take that mask off. But when they're up and down the hall, in our common areas with other students from other grades, that mask would need to go back on. We're going to do that for next week, 5 days, and then reevaluate where we are at that point. How is everybody feeling about it? Have we seen any sort of alarming trends? And then reevaluate whether we need to stay put with that for a while, or if we're ready to take another step forward. So I guess the word for the next 6 weeks of school that we have left is forward moving, but yet in a way that we can make all of our family members feel as though we are listening to them, we're taking into account their feelings. So again, beginning Monday, your students will be able to take their masks off when they're in their classroom, seated, listening to their teacher doing work, and then just put them on when they're in our common areas in the school building. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer them. And yes, we do have 27 days of school left. I have counted. Have a great weekend.